Hi friends, this is Dinkar Suri, founder of the GASP Sales Academy, where we build sales productivity. Welcome to this new series, the Spotlight series, where we shall be bringing you experts who will be talking about how you can build sales productivity in your own sales organization. Today, we have with us Mr. Sunil Haribal. Sunil Haribal is a sales and training consultant since 2002 after working for over 22 years with Procter and Gamble India. Over the last 19 years, Sunil has been a sales coach, has provided sales training and consulting support to organizations across various sectors. Sunil is a science graduate with a diploma in marketing management. He also has done a certification course for external coaching intensive from the Teachers Training College, Columbia University. He is also a Certified Professional Behaviour Analyst, CPBA. He has a special knack of doing online interactive training sessions. Sunil is a mentor at the GASP Sales Academy, and he shall be bringing his experience in sales training and coaching to teach people and make them more productive salespersons. Today, let's talk to him about his career, his learnings, and insights about salespersons and sales training that impact sales productivity. Welcome, Sunil, to GASP Sales Academy and the Spotlight series. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
So, Sunil, you've spent a lot of years with Procter and Gamble. As part of your profile, we said 22 years. What has P&G taught you? What has the what is the indelible mark that it has left on you?
Well, today whatever I am, it's because of PNG. So if you think of a mark, then PNG has left me the whole of thing, not just a mark. Because I started my career selling on the streets. I was selling Vicks Vapor Rub on the road, and I think I have been very lucky to be in a company like PNG because PNG is very strong on processes. Not just PNG, even the Richardson Vicks International (RBI) that was then known. They were very similar companies, and so the basic thing was it believed a lot in processes, and you understand that everything can be done in a structured way. In fact, whatever I've learned is still useful to me even now. And not only that, many companies find it new when I share what I have learned that many years back.
Great.
So fundamentally, it's a very strong company, processes, people, automatically the business comes, and PNG, as you know, is the number one. That's the only company I've worked, so I definitely will feel that it's always the number one company.
That's the thing. You left a company and never went and joined another company. And for the past 19 years, you've been doing sales training and coaching. And when I first met you, I saw your card. It says that if selling is an art, we make it a science. Now, why do you say that?
Well, as I've explained to you in the past, art is something which very few people have. Art is people are artistic, so not everybody has any specific art. But when that same art, if we draw out the principles, and if these principles are applied in different scenarios, then it becomes a science. Selling can be learned. There is a science. So when we say science, what does it mean? It basically means there are some principles which are true, which were true earlier, which are true now, and which will be true in future. For example, we talk of Newton's principles or Newton's laws, and they don't change with time, and they don't change with geography. Similarly, selling. The principles are very similar whether you're in this company, that company, you're selling this or that. If you apply those principles, the results are very, very predictable, and you can anticipate. Like they say, if in science they say if something is a constant. So if the environment is a constant, then the stimulus we put is bound to get in a specific kind of response. That is how we say selling is an art. It's a science. We make it a science, and it's
So,
actually a science.
yes. So basically, what you're saying is that the principles of selling have remained unchanged since it was ever invented, ever since the first sale was ever done by anybody, by mankind. The selling
Yeah.
remains the same. So all the technology and the IT, the enablement that's happening, well, how would you see this playing a role?
See, IT is about getting information. Information is good because if you get it now ready at hand, it helps you a lot. But whether you have IT or not, the principles won't change. For example, if you have data, you know more about the customer. And selling principle, it says, what is the selling principle? For example, is unless you know enough about the customer and his needs, you cannot sell anything to
Absolutely,
him.
absolutely, absolutely.
So data helps, more data helps in a better way. So automation, data, things have changed now. IT has come in and made a lot of differences. But it is still, when it comes to reality and when it comes to selling, the same principles will be used.
Yeah.
I said you have to determine the buyer's needs first. That's a basic principle, and only then you can present to him whatever. Most of the salespeople directly try to present before even understanding the customers. So that is where they don't succeed. Now, if you understand your customers well and his needs, then you can present it better. That's the science. And for that, if you use data automation, great.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's a great learning for us. You obviously worked hundreds of salespersons in your career and still now, both at PNG and also as a sales consultant, as a sales trainer and coach. So, what are
Mm.
the kind of concerns a company has about a salesperson's performance and productivity? Can you tell us?
One of the things which is really a concern. You see, salespeople are once they are out, they are all alone. Okay, so we really don't know whether they are working in a market or not. You know, they a lot of them often seem to if they are not under constant supervision, there is an element of shortcut. They will only visit convenient customers and convenient. They assume that they will get business here, so they'll only go there. Some assumption that these customers won't buy, they will never go there. So there's a lot of shortcut by salespeople. They think they know that this customer will buy and this customer will not buy. They'll then give excuses कि वो, that there's no money with that customer, there is no, so one is the lack of discipline. Because I think in sales there is a big need to be disciplined, whether the customer buys or not, whether he respects you or not, you got to go. But that, I think, one is where the salespeople are lacking. They are not making a conscious effort to continuously go and visit customers, so they do a lot of shortcuts. I think the other thing is salespeople just don't spend time understanding the customer. They're
Okay.
always pitching, pitching, and pitching. Listening is a skill which they have to develop, which they have not developed. They're always in a hurry, making a lot of assumptions that they know the customer, they have understood it. Before even the customer has stopped answering or saying something, the salesperson is on to pitching. Look,
Okay.
my product is the greatest product, etc., etc. Or sometimes because of the pressure, they even get to the level of kind of between begging and requesting the customer. They don't talk with respect, or they talk with a little lower stature than the customer, if they are not confident, and that's how it is a concern which many people do. Even when it comes to talking to distributors, either some are over aggressive, some people are very very aggressive, some people are kind of meek and kind of begging. So we need a balance between the
Okay.
two.
And can I ask you why do salespersons behave like this? Is there any particular reason that they do the behavior that they exhibit?
Well, they may be not aware of what they are doing. So see, it's like you kept trying for some time, and whatever response you got from the customers, you change your behavior accordingly. So it is more molded themselves. So those who got pushed down by the customers, they get into a shell, at least with that customers. And so that getting that confidence, what to talk, how to handle his questions, there is a lot of need for training and empowering that person.
Okay,
So
very interesting. Very interesting because you don't find this behavior in other departments like finance or manufacturing. At least I haven't. You tend to find fairly consistent behavior. So I'm just thinking aloud as to what is the DNA of a salesperson which makes them amenable to such kind of issues which affect their productivity, because ultimately, from what you said, it affects the sales productivity of the individual and of the department and the company. So I think what you're saying essentially is that there's a lot of human resource management that happens, and perhaps a lot of education that we need to do for the average salesperson, so that he or she can overcome this. Is that a right understanding that I have?
if there are two, three things. One is they need to be, first of all, definitely well empowered, trained. They should have the product knowledge, they should have the selling ability and skills. And second is that inherent motivation should come from within. So the company can make a good atmosphere, good environment for the sales team to perform. So a sales
Sure.
team which is constantly put under pressure, like even if it's a good performing company, if they put in a lot of pressure, then their behavior changes from selling to kind of requesting and begging. So that there should also be some element of external environment which should be positive for the salesperson. And of course the training part, which cannot be denied, that if the better trained they are, the better knowledgeable and
Sure.
skilled they are, that will definitely make a difference. So two things definitely: good knowledge, good skill, and that atmosphere. And of course the last thing, which is definitely most important, is the brand name of the company. If the company name is good, then it becomes easier for the customer to, for the seller to, because he has to represent a brand. But if you talk of a smaller company, then they will have to do that extra struggle because they don't have a brand name, and they have to make up, with that. And of course, over a period of time, they'll build the brand. And remember, the salesperson is the company for the customer. They
Correct.
don't see your factory in Baroda or your factory in wherever, Silvassa. For the salesperson, for the customer, the salesperson is the company. So the better person you have, better is the image for the company.
So that brings me to the next question. When you talk of trading, there are broadly two kinds of companies, I guess, a B2C and a B2B, and services fall within B2B. Is there any difference in training between these two kind of companies? Is there a special focus you need to give for a B2B versus B2C? What is your experience?
Yes, they are two different things. Uh, Although the selling principles and the selling skills will be applicable and useful in both the places, but the circumstances are different in a B2B. So B2B is more personal selling. B2C, you also do some element of personal selling, but more of channel management, more of you know uh, doing a service to the retailer or the So B2C is also more about it's slightly different, and the drivers are different. So there is a difference between the B2B and B2C. We have different programs for B2B and different programs for B2C. But like I said, principles will always be there. Selling
The
principles will
underlying
always.
science is the same. That's what you're saying.
Science is same.
Yes. Okay.
But they are two different things. They are two different ball games.
So you mentioned different programs you do for B2B and B2C, but is there any common element of sales training that you feel that you have to give the salespeople across organizations, irrespective of the product or service? Is there a couple of things which are very very common, which are very much needed? I just want to hear from you about that.
See, I think it's very important. Is the first and foremost for any training which we do, whether it's B2B or B2C, we try to understand first what exactly is the driver of business, what drives the business in any company.
Okay.
So based on those drivers, irrespective of B2B, we have to clearly tell that sales team what is their role and responsibilities. Because that tells them what is expected out of them. And once that is clear, then we arrive at what are the skills required for defining those responsibilities and achieving those responsibilities. And then we recommend a routine some kind of call process for a B2C. And believe me that B2C call process is also as applicable in B2B with minor variation. But it is there. The selling process and the principle will match almost. That's the difference. Common thing is understanding the drivers of business. Based on that, arriving at the responsibilities, providing them the skills defined, and then a routine, a process.
That's great. So you actually outlined the process of the entire sales team management that we talk about and how to make them productive. Okay, so let me come to the question that I had in mind, which was that assuming that you did all of this, and when you go to various companies and companies say, okay, I need sales training for my sales teams, and yes, you have to do a need analysis and get to the bottom of it. But in your experience, you generally find that most salespeople are lacking in couple of skills as a generic mode, I would say. What would that be? What are those skills which are generally needed by everybody but they don't have?
Well, most of them would be like communication skills, the handling objection skills, negotiation skills. These are some of the common
So these are
skills.
common no matter where you go. No matter where you go, you find this generally.
No matter where I go, B2B or B2C, this is a common need. Is understanding what exactly is selling, some amount of listening, determining the buyer's need. So all these are part of selling skills, and that is a need almost everywhere.
Basic one. That's very interesting. Very interesting.
It's also about handling object, because they get stuck with objections and they come out of that. How to close a sale, how to follow up, even after sales is very important nowadays, because it's not just enough that you've sold once, because now the business is you have to sell again and again. So even
Absolutely.
after sales is a science which is to be done by sales teams. So this I learned from a company which I really regarding this after sales. I learned from a company no less than Toyota, where I had done some work. So they are very great in after sales.
Okay,
so
great.
That's what I said. Skills can be applied from any company to any industry.
Yes, it's a science. Yeah. That brings me to a very important question, that you are a sales trainer, and obviously that is where you really focus and get the skills of the people you just talked about upgraded. Is there anything else apart from sales training that is to be added to a toolkit to make the sales teams more productive? Apart from training, is there anything else that you feel is required by the sales teams?
Yes, definitely. Because sales training alone won't give you results. They will give you good results if there are other couple of things which are essential. One is, the company has to give a positive environment. But if there is a constant, pressure, then, the training doesn't help. Because you have trained him, but, the bosses are not willing to listen. I want results by hook or crook, go and get it. So that way, if there has to be some amount of patience, I know nobody is patient today. I mean, nobody has the patience to wait for results. People believe that if you have done a training in this month, we should start getting results next month. You will get a significant difference, but it has to be nurtured. What happens is after the training is given, it has to be sustained.
So we also deal with a lot of in the academy, a lot of entrepreneurs and startups. So these people are still sometimes trying to figure out the brand, the value proposition, the channel partners, and they are also very keen that they get their sales team trained. So what is the message you would have for such startups or companies in the growth phase who don't have a big brand but who want to make the presence felt in the market and are wondering how to go about this whole aspect of sales training?
See, they can always seek out support, from people who know it, who have done it in the past. They can attend some of the kind of courses you are doing, because we have, you have about some 35, 40 years experience. I have, the amount of, it's not 1 into 35 years or experience. Or it's not 1 into 40. We have been doing different work at different types of people, industries. I think people like you and me can definitely help such companies, especially small, to really bring their
Absolutely
quality
right.
of capability up.
In fact, the point I'm going to make is that at the end of the day, the salesperson has takes the product as given. If you go to the real on the field, but if the product doesn't have a unique value proposition that differentiated from competition, if it doesn't have the right pricing, which is probably not in the salesperson's hands at certain levels, then he probably is starting off on the wrong foot to start with, right? And these are very important things for entrepreneurs. In large corporation enterprises, it's taken as given. There's a marketing department which hopefully is doing the research, understanding consumer needs, and then the issues about how to translate that in the market. But conceiving the product, getting the right value proposition, that is a crucial part, Sunil, that we are going to be focusing on in the GASP Sales Academy, and we've got experts on this, on design thinking. It's a big word, design thinking. But at the heart of it, what does it mean? Understanding what your consumer, customer, or user needs, and building a product or service around that. As simple as that. And yet, that's a basic core thing that a lot of organizations that I deal with, as entrepreneurs, they flounder there. Good intentions, but that's where we need to guide them. And then you top it up with this sales training, which makes these soldiers really on the field, fully charged and armed up. Then I think they cannot go wrong. So I think it's part
Absolutely.
of a complete project that we need to do. And as you rightly said in the academy, GASP Sales Academy, that is what we're trying to do. Let me ask you a very important question, which you probably answered a little bit earlier, but I want to focus on this. What is the role of the sales heads, the sales director, the head of sales, in ensuring good sales productivity?
You take care of your people, they will take care of your business. I think if the sales head, along with the HR, and they are able to take care of the sales people, they will take care of business. Many sales head try to take care of business. They somewhat ignore the people part of it. But having seen the such kind of leaders in my career, I think sales heads can really, everybody feels like doing, learning and doing more and more. That is the kind of team every sales head should desire and should have. You know, not a sales head who, people, if he comes from there and I run away from here, that should not be the kind of sales head. He should, imbibe enthusiasm. People should feel like looking to him, looking up to him, talking to him. That kind of, sales heads should be there, I would say. And that is easy, very easy. When you go to the field, look at the people, their conditions, talk to them, be friendly. That's all that is required. That would touch therapy, some feel that, that goodness factor. I mean, people, a sales head cannot teach everybody. For that, there are trainers like us who should go and, but when he goes and he should touch the heart of the people and, maybe, do some feel good feeling. That I think is the greatest role if they can.
That will ensure good sales productivity and team bonding, I guess.
100%. 100%. There is no doubt about that. I mean, it will add on to the training or the capability building. That alone will also not work. See, three things which I said: good training and capability building, good atmosphere like the one I said mentioned to you, and third, which you mentioned, is a great product with a great product differentiation. All three are important for us to succeed. Whether you're a individual entrepreneur or it's a big company, these three are critical. If you have any two, but you don't have a great product or you don't have a product differentiation, you can sell once, twice. How many times you want to sell again?
Sure.
Right? If you have a great product, but they are not motivated, they are not trained, then that also will not help. So all three are, like the blocks of a great result.
We at the GASP Sales Academy are focusing on building sales productivity. So it covers a lot of what you just said, the building blocks. Essentially what we're talking about is that when you talk of the sales head and you talk of companies should not put a lot of pressure but be performance oriented, you are saying chase the process, don't chase the result. Because the moment companies chase the result, they set a different tone, and the entire organization then falls flat. And the sales head role, as you rightly mentioned, if he's following the process and very cleverly doing it, obviously for the company's own benefit, right? And he's cleverly channelizing the energy in such a way that it looks like an art. As I always say, when the science, like you're saying, is done correctly and deeply, I mean, it looks like art. When you're talking, Sunil, about all of this, it seems so
Yeah,
easy. But
yeah.
Actually, it is very difficult to practice, and years of practice are required to bring it to the level that you're talking about. And at the Sales Academy, one of the first things to make people aware is that this actually is a science. By the way, hey guys, it's a science, and it can be taught. So don't get dejected. Don't fall flat. And there is, there are many flavors to this. And then once people learn the science, the way you implement that science and the way I implement it, that's the flavor, a slightly different flavor of each person. And I think that goes a long way in sustaining sales productivity, I think. But I want to know your views. If you do all of that you just mentioned, and okay, I do it once, I do it twice, how do you sustain all of this to ensure long-term sales productivity gains?
See, this has to be the culture of the organization. In the sense, everybody, behaves in a certain way. When I say culture, supposing you have done a great training, then the culture requisitions or demands that you bring in the motivation, keep doing it again and again. But if there is a gap in this, it's not consistent. Again, you then move to focus. Chalo, month end, month end and year end are there in every company. But if that is kind of focuses only on that, only on the results and results and results, then you take your focus away from the way of doing the process. I think what it's 90% of the time the process should deliver. It's only 10% of the time some amount of pressure or folk can help. But really, if you ask me, the process following consistently, definitely will give results. Because after all, the processes are designed to get that result. It is not so how do you, when you do all those things, you will get better results. And when we say results means repeat customers increasing their share, we getting more from the same customers. So these are the drivers which will drive business, and focusing on the process is definitely the better way to get business, especially when you have a fairly large number. If you are alone, if you have few people, then it's fine whatever you do. But if you have a larger number of people, there has to be some amount of standardization, the right ways of doing it. People get moved from one place to another. So these processes are important. Tomorrow I'll move Dinkar you from Mumbai to Gujarat. Then you don't have to learn new things there. You've done something here which you have to do there, which is the same thing which will help you grow business in Mumbai, and the same thing will help you grow business in Delhi.
Absolutely right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It doesn't. And tomorrow, if you change your job, for example, go to another company, the same process will help. Right. In fact, one of the benefits of training is that person can become, productive in all scenarios, and he can definitely use the training.
Absolutely right.
The other important thing which I would like to mention here is that while training, a lot of companies also provide, the onus is also on the person to learn. Many times, company provide a lot of opportunities. One of the things which the salespeople don't do, which I think I should have added to one question which you asked earlier, is that they don't want to practice what is learned. They go back to the shortcut and their old way of learning because they think it is easier. I think that effort from the sales team has to come. If the company has provided opportunity to learn, they should learn. Some of the times I've seen when we do training, if there is slightly large number of participants, there's some people, especially now online, if they switch off, they are there physically, but they do something else. Video, they don't put it on. So they are wasting their time. They should neither be sitting in the training, nor the company should be wasting their time on these people. So it's a learning. See, nowadays focus is also on learning. So when we say training, we also ensure that there is learning happening. So training alone, we should not be the end of the, they should be ensuring that he has learned it. So we can do some kind of assessments, some tests, role play based assessment, certification. So that and that certification is linked to some small reward. But if he doesn't learn, we can say training done, tick mark. That will not help.
So I think that's a great way to basically end this wonderful discussion. Before going, I just want to remind all of you that Sunil will be taking a 2-hour session on negotiation skills training as part of the the launch of the GASP Sales Academy with the Building Efficient Sales Organization with GASP. This is a flagship course, and Sunil has agreed to take a 2-hour session on negotiation skills, especially for the all the cohorts. Would you like to talk to us about this particular aspect, Sunil, the negotiation skills training that you will do for us?
Well, in a 2 hour slot, we can do many modules, but I think this is one interesting module which which people will enjoy and learn. There is a need in this, and if the others who are watching here, if they are keen, they should definitely to come to learn to the session where we'll be sharing a lot of useful principles. Well, as a final stage, of course, we have discussed a lot. You would have picked up a lot of things. I think it's a great opportunity for you to join this cohort, which Mr. Dinkar Suri is running. Dinkar is an expert. You will also get to interact with me for some time, and there is more. This should be just the starting point for you, and there's an we have enough to share, provided there is somebody willing to listen to. Wish you all the best.